Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Having a Human Experience. My name is Fabian, and today we're going to experience the life of Miss Gretchen Dunlap. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, awesome. Gretchen's a great friend of mine. She's been in my networking sphere of influence for a long time. I've known her. It's like been what, 5-6 years now?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like one of the first people I met in that world.
What were you doing back then?
Working in my family's chiropractic office.
That's right, the chiropractor's office.
Doing marketing for them, yep.
That's true, yeah. We did all the BNI stuff together.
Yep, we did MSP together.
Yep. That's true.
Sat right next to each other.
That's exactly how we met.
Yep.
Yeah, doing the chiropractic stuff. And now what are you doing? What's this beautiful scenery behind us?
Well, this is our wedding and event venue that we came up with through many conversations with people and ourselves and whatnot about maybe 3 years ago from conception.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it's our family property, and we've moved out here about 5-6 years ago, and we were like, it'd be really cool to work out here, totally be out here all the time, share this place with other people. It's a beautiful hill country space.
Yeah, it is.
You know? And
it was a drive, but man, it was a drive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But anyways, we, through conversations with people, kind of getting ideas of what we could do out here, wedding and event venue is what we chose, and we are going to be opening now in about 3 weeks.
Wow, jeez.
Excited.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Excited, nervous, but you can throw up a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Taking on your own business, and at least, especially at this capacity, is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, this could not have been easy to accomplish. Like, this little room that we're in doesn't do it justice. The window that you're in doesn't do it justice. Later on, I'm gonna capture a separate video to show you just how far out and how beautiful this property is. But
that still doesn't do it justice. Literally, like, I find that you
gotta
be out here to experience it.
Yeah. You gotta experience. I mean, the drive out here through the hill country. Got to drive through my favorite parts of Medina Lake, and I'm just big on that. Big on just kind of letting the radio play and
chilling out.
Or my favorite podcast, hint, wink, wink.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. So okay. So you were doing the chiropractic thing. We go out of contact for a couple of years, and then you just show back up at a Luby's one morning with Shane from a recent video, from recent podcast, talking about this event venue.
Yep.
And it seemed like it was super conceptual at the time.
Yep.
And I mean, tell me how close to right I am on that.
Oh, 100%. In fact,
100%?
when we saw each other there at Luby's, I invited my architect who helped us, with the design of this, to that meeting.
Nice.
Or one of those meetings. And I mean, I don't even think we'd drawn up the plans yet. We were just in conversation still, I believe, at that point, on what we wanted to create out here and what was possible and stuff like that. So that's how at the beginning it was.
Yeah, so why a wedding and event venue?
Well, I don't know. I've always wanted to have like a kids camp. I went to kids camp when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I loved it, and I always wanted to have one. But when I really looked at what it would take to build that, it just seemed too big.
Yeah.
And I know this isn't a kids camp, but it's still a place for people to gather and enjoy each other and have an experience, whether it's a wedding or even if they have.
Hopefully a once in a lifetime event.
Exactly, for a wedding, yeah. But even if they come out for anniversary parties or, some kind of retirement party, something like that.
True.
It's still kind of that same concept of people coming together, enjoying each other, one-on-one and in groups, loving each other, enjoying the outdoors, the view. And we're all about, this is like an open air venue. We are all about just being outside and soaking up what God has given us just simply through the beauty, around us. And so just all of that equaled, and a friend suggested when we were asking, he suggested, hey, why not do a wedding venue? And honestly, at first I was like, that's not really what I was thinking. That's not, but my husband and I sat back and said, what would that look like? Let's try it on. What would it look like to have a wedding?
Mull it over, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like what would we offer? What would we share? That would be an expression of ourselves, and slowly, here it is. And it literally has organically happened because the architect gave us the design and the plan, and the amphitheater is exactly what he designed. The rest of it morphed and shifted as other people, the people who were doing some of the work were making suggestions, and we're starting to realize, what the land is like, and maybe it needs to be, you can't just go off of a drawing, like we got to work with the land and how it's laid out and the way the wind and the rain comes and all that kind of thing. And so it was neat how it just kind of organically has become its own thing. I'm really kind of glad we had a plan, but that we let it create itself. And that's what our plan is for the business from forever. Let it kind of tell us what it needs and wants, and then we listen and move accordingly,
Yeah, that's
I don't know if that
really
makes
cool.
sense, but
Oh, it makes a little sense. I mean, because yeah, it's beautiful out here, but the terrain is definitely gonna hinder and dictate what you can get away with.
right.
And I would have turned this to a paintball field, whatever, high ground this and high ground that, but whatever. I don't think what God gave us is meant to be shot at, but whatever.
If the rain washed it off, maybe we'd consider it, but I don't really want speckles all over the place. Paint speckles.
And you and your husband, how long y'all been married?
We've been married for 11 years.
Oh, okay.
Going on 12 right now.
Nice, congrats.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
job. Some people can't even last 12 seconds anymore.
Yeah. We actually dated in high school, so we knew each other. We had some history together, and
The
then
high school sweethearts.
kind of, and then
The high school boomerang sweethearts.
Yeah, basically, yes, yeah. Life takes you in different directions for a while, and then you find yourself back together, and then together forever now. So it's pretty cool.
Nice. It's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very. Also, so it starts in January. Have you had any pre-parties so far? Have you had any unofficial groundbreakers?
So we've had work days. So we've had parties with our friends and our family come out and help us work out here and feed them. So that's kind of a party.
Yeah.
We had our first wedding in October. We had a couple that really loved the view and wanted to, we just kind of worked with them and they worked with us, and we were able to have our first wedding, which was absolutely perfect. It couldn't have gone any better for them or for us, so that was great. Nice little test run. And
Very cool.
And then we're going to have a kind of a small New Year's Eve gathering up here to kind of kick off that we're done, and we're ourselves.
We're practically at the top of a giant hill, so just launching fireworks off the top of a giant hills.
Well, we won't be launching them, but we'll be observing them out there.
Oh, what?
Well, we don't want to catch anything on fire, I kind of like this place.
Pretty sure it's just... we're gonna open next week. Oh, what's that? A Roman candle?
Yeah, no,
all right.
no. There'll be plenty to observe out in the distance.
Yeah, speaking out of the distance, this place is kind of... okay, so I'm sure you're going to get this from the guests. Accommodations. What's nearby? What are they going to have out here? Because it's going to be a drive for quite a bit of people.
It can be a drive, definitely. What we're finding is that a lot of couples do want to get out, out in the country and get away from the city.
Yeah.
And so that's what we provide.
Yeah, we did.
But there is Bandera, the little city of Bandera is not very far from here.
No,
and
not at all.
It's got a nice, brand new, modern Best Western with several rooms available. And then there's dude ranches, Airbnbs. There's like some people, if they want to bring RVs out, there's a lot of RV parks. So there's a lot of unique spaces around here. Bandera would be the closest for a full-on hotel, and then you've got Bernie and Helotes as well, which aren't too far away.
Have you looked at or maybe reached out to any of the local B&Bs or any of that, seeing if maybe...
Yeah, I have. I've gone and met with some of the people specifically and actually put them on our website so that as our brides are looking through what we have and where we're at, what we have available around us, I've got them on there. Because I wanted to vet them out, have a conversation with these people. If I'm going to direct people to stay at their place, I want to make sure that I'm good with them too, So, yeah.
Okay, so on your website, what else is on there?
We've got different caterers. We've got flower people, bartenders, DJs.
Nice. So suggestions for everything?
We got that kind of thing. Yeah, we got directions from different locations around San Antonio, all of our pricing, some photos.
And they're all personally vetted and...
Yeah. Yep.
That's cool. Do you have like some blanket criteria? Is it just, oh, hey, this is my cousin, he does he does it really good? Yeah.
No. We want absolute professionals working out here. We want anybody to be licensed and insured, and you can have your friends do catering and stuff like that if they're licensed and insured. We don't want anybody getting sick and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course.
But for bartenders, we want to make sure they're not friends, because bartenders are there to make sure everything stays cool. And if you got friends involved, it might get a little crazy out here. So.
Yeah, for the life of me, I really wanted to do an open bar for my wedding and have a friend of mine who is a professional bartender up and down, and she flat out refused and gave me a laundry list of reasons why.
Yeah.
So we ended up just getting big old ice chests of beer and a couple of margarita machines and called it a night.
Good. Yeah. It's good to check in with the professionals and find out, like, what do you suggest and why do you suggest it? And so we all make better decisions on huge parties we put together.
Yeah. Throughout the wedding process, though, it's kind of, I don't know, the whole wedding idea itself has changed a lot.
Yeah. How do you mean?
People are going through different traditions and going through, different venues to get, avenues.
Yeah.
To get married. Like, I know I've seen a lot of my friends have very non-traditional weddings. The venues are getting more and more outdoorsy, more open.
Right.
They're foregoing a lot of the traditions like the wedding dress, certain types of rings. Have you seen any of those trends yourself?
I have seen them out there. And yeah, it does seem like there are people doing different kinds of, some people are getting married still in the church, but then they're going elsewhere for a reception. Yeah. I've heard some strange stories from other venue owners, that help me prepare for what could come my way to, veer away from. But, I had a bride reach out the other day who they eloped this year, and they want to have their reception with their family a year later. Yeah, so she's going to come check it out in a couple weeks and see if this would be the place for their celebration. But yeah, so there's definitely different. I remember my parents talking about, they always, back in that day, it was just the church. Everything happened in the church in the hall. There was no venues, for people to get married at, for the most part.
I've seen everything from big extravagant weddings to courthouse weddings to me and my wife getting married by somebody dressed as Batman. And,
you guys? How funny!
Yeah. I got him and his wife on a podcast like a couple of days ago.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, they're about to have their first baby. Congrats again.
Yeah, congrats.
But okay. So something you said brings up another question. So, what kind of research do you do for this? Like, are you constantly looking at wedding trends? Are you looking at other venues and what they're doing and how to incorporate that? Are you looking at,
Yeah. Basically what you're talking about, I did take a venue accelerator class about a year ago to learn about, venue accelerator class to a woman who owns and runs a really successful venue. It became a coach for venue owners, and and
there's
so
coaches for everything.
There is. And when I came across her, I took her class, and I was like, "This is good because it gives me all this understanding on the business background of the wedding venue industry. And it was really helpful. And so she helped teach us how to research the kind of information we needed to know to find out, who we were going to be basically, and who we were going to be attracting and stuff. And then, just, keeping an eye on certain venues on Facebook or any kind of social media thing. I go and meet other venue owners and chat with them and that kind of thing. Just really kind of immersing yourself in the industry, meeting with other kind of vendors in general is really great. There's some people who've been in the business for a long time, and they know the ins and outs and how things go and what people like and don't like. And I kind of take all that in. And then, of course, there's experience.
Yeah.
Getting my own experience, which has been kind of cool. Having our tours. We've been having tours all year, even though we haven't been ready. I've had several, and I've met many different brides, and you kind of see the different things they're looking for, and different energies.
Right. You're like following with a sketch pad. Like, okay, they're like this. They're like
you like this. You don't like that. We're willing to do this. We're not willing to do that.
Bridezilla.
Yeah. So, but there's a place for every bride. There's for every bride's desire for their wedding. There's a venue out there for them. I felt bad for one that came out one day. She just seemed deflated. I was like, so what are you looking for in a venue? It doesn't have to be us. I'm just glad they're out looking at us, And she was like, I don't know. I'll know it when I see it. But she just was like, couldn't find it. And I don't know how many she'd been to. But my heart was hurting for her because I was just like, it can be a stressful thing if you're really looking for something you can't find for such a big day in your life. And
any criteria you have for the venue is gonna be stressful.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, it's a big day, and
so she was feeling defeated.
She was feeling defeated, yeah. And when and she left, and I knew we weren't going to be the place for her. That's absolutely fine with me. I don't, you don't be picking our venue if it's not going to make your day. It's got to be what you want. And but I was able to kind of email her later and just kind of re-encourage her and send her a couple other places I thought maybe would work for her that are in different areas, like in Helotes, and she was thankful for that. And it was nice to just be able to try to cheer up a little bit. I'm like, you're gonna find what you're looking for. You just gotta keep looking, and I think it does a lot of times come down to a feeling. I know that when I was looking where Mitch and I were gonna get married, it was like, no, like you can almost tell when you walk in. It's just like, no, this doesn't feel like it. And we actually got married out here on the ranch, in a different part of the ranch. But we were like, I want to get married out here. We dated out here. We want to live out here. I mean, it was everything we wanted. So. And it was incredibly rustic. It was not built up at all. It was porta potties, and I got changed in a nice big tent, but it was beautiful and perfect.
We were trying to rack our brains with our venue. We were trying to go as cheap as possible for the entire thing. We're like, you know what? It's just one day. The important thing is that we have everybody that we love and that we have a giant ass party.
Right.
That was our criteria. Like a 10-minute ceremony, big old party. And so we were like, okay, so where can we get a lot of people together for super duper cheap? Because I've cultivated a lot of relationships in my lifetime.
Right.
My invite list of family and close friends alone was like 300 people.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we maxed out at 200, so this would not have been your place.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, I think about 200 people showed up.
Yeah.
So, we just kind of went down. We tried every connection. We looked at all these other venues, and they capped this, they capped that. They wanted outrageous prices for all those people. And then I don't know who thought of it, but someone's like, what about one of the pavilions at Canyon Lake, the military side? And so that's where we ended up having it.
Very nice.
And then another friend of mine did the same thing on another portion of the military site, and it was also just gorgeous. Getting to get married by the water.
And it was just an outdoor wedding then?
Yeah, it was just an outdoor wedding. We timed it to where it was like right when the sun was going down, and things were cooling down. And as soon as we were done, I think, again, the ceremony was maybe 20 minutes from the time she stepped out to the time we walked off was like maybe
Right.
15, 20 minutes. And then, you know, her and I were shuffled around for pictures, and in the background, friends and family were like frantically getting tables and chairs set up. And, you know, the next thing I know, I turn around and everything's just there.
All
We have
ready.
tables, it's all decorated, cakes are out, and just, it was pretty incredible.
Did y'all have a band or a DJ, or just have
A
some-
DJ? Well, technically a DJ. My wife used to be a DJ,
Ah.
so she didn't want to hire one because she knew that she would just critique them, or they, you know, wouldn't go right, or blah, blah, blah. So she created the wedding playlist herself and hit play.
That's awesome.
She hit a couple of jokes on me in there, and I hit a couple of jokes on her in there, and it was a good night.
That's perfect. That is perfect. That's what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about. That sounds beautiful.
So how many do you go to? I don't know. I don't want to say crash weddings, but do you attend more public-facing weddings now that you are doing this, to just kind of see what or how events run them and see how the staff is? Or
I have not done that yet. I've had a couple of venue owner friends that I've met invite me to do that at any point that I'm ready to do that. I just haven't had time to do that kind of thing quite yet, as far as we're just busy up here working and getting it all set. But any weddings that we've gone to since we've been in this process, you can bet your boots we're observing a lot of things about it.
what's been your favorite so far?
Observation?
What's your biggest observation and takeaway so far?
You know, I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't really thought about it specifically. I guess more so I would know, I personally notice like what I don't want or don't want to have happen at our venue, as far as maybe the way the venue kept itself up, you know, or like, for instance, you know, there was my niece was getting married and we were helping decorate for it, and it was very hard to find outlets to plug in lights and stuff like that. So we think things like, okay, make sure we have plenty of convenient outlets to plug things in so it doesn't become an issue like it was for us, because I'm sure it's become an issue for other people as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Especially in the days of the smartphone.
Right. And, you know, maybe the way a bridal suite is kept or not kept, things like that are the most takeaways, is like things that I don't like, so we make sure we go opposite of that as far as what we're developing out here. Now for us, we're going to be providing the space, but, you know, they get to bring in, and I can guide them to people I know, of course, but, you know, caterers, decorators, bartenders, DJ, all those people come in. So we'll make sure everything's running smooth on the venue specific side. And then all those professionals will take care of their parts, you know, and ideally a bride will have at least a day of planner to be making sure the day runs smoothly, so she doesn't have to be stressing about it, nor does one of her, you know, bridesmaids or mothers have to be stressing about that kind of thing either. You know, kind of let somebody else have those reins.
All right. So in that venue class, did they teach you like any sort of crash course on Bridezillas and how to deal with like super demanding people?
Well, they teach you how to figure out who your target market is, and kind of become a welcoming space for that target bride, if you will.
All right.
So ideally, we won't really be getting demanding Bridezillas, because it's not the style of people that we are or venue that we have. That's what I think. I don't know, you know.
I hate to use that term because, you know, it's derogatory, you know, whatever, but it's highly demanding brides.
I think that a highly demanding bride is not going to want to be at our venue, because they're going to want to be in a different kind of a space that has a lot of just something different than what we have. That's what I think. But you know what? Same as you and I were talking earlier, I love people. I think I'm good with people. I can look around and through those kinds of things. Honestly, if a bride is feeling uptight like that and bridezilla-y, then she's probably just nervous and overwhelmed. So if I come across that, I'm probably
yeah.
gonna just like see that and help. Let's calm it down. What do you really
guide
want?
them down
Yeah.
and figure out
What do you
exactly
really
what's
want?
really
What do you
going
need?
on.
Yeah, like what's going on, and try to work through that, because people
that's
don't
the right
want to
answer.
be.
See,
Yeah,
that's the-
people don't want to be roaring around. I mean, it's not calm. It's not calm, for themselves. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking mostly those kinds of brides won't want to be out here, or we'll be able to work through it.
What's the first? I don't want to say real decoration, but like, what's the first like real kind of, I guess, extravagant decoration or landscaping thing you want to do out there once this place starts really taking off?
That's a good question that I don't think I have the answer to yet, because like I was saying earlier, the business is going to kind of tell us what it needs and wants, and part of that's going to come through conversations with couples and seeing how events go, or seeing what they want before the event, and maybe bringing that thing in if it aligns with the rest of the vision and stuff. So I don't know. I'm a kind of person that kind of like looks ahead and sees what I want, and then backs up and takes it one step at a time to get there. And each step reveals what the next step is and what the next step is. And if I try to get too far ahead, I become my own venue ownerzilla. I get overwhelmed and uptight.
I mean, this took what, 3 years to develop, and how many times did that happen?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's it can be mental stuff can, putting challenges upon ourselves can be very challenging sometimes. So there's times when I'm like with my husband, he doesn't feel like this as much as me, but I'm here like day in, day out working on this. I mean, he's a teacher, so he gets to leave and go teach. But there's times when I'm like, what are we doing? Why have we picked such a big, dream and acted on it? People dream all the time, but they don't always act on it. But then I turn it around and be like, well, because like, what are we doing here in life? Like, what do I want to do for me? Like, what do I want to do? What would I be doing otherwise?
Yeah.
Nothing as challenging as this, and would that be worth why I'm here? Like, I'm here to do big things. I'm not going to be here forever. So let's do it. Let's just do it and grow through the frustration parts. And what else would I be doing? Is basically what I say, I mean, I'd still be doing a lot. We have like goats and horses and dogs and chickens. We got a lot of things to do.
Yeah, a lot of crap to take care of.
Yeah, but that's more of a kind of a self-serving thing. This is more
kind of like
a
introspective. What else would I be doing?
Yeah. And this is a way to kind of, I mean, we've got to share the view with people. I mean, it's too beautiful up here to keep it to ourselves.
It really is. Like, again, well, I'll attempt to capture it. Yeah.
I mean, it's just too beautiful. It would be selfish to keep it to ourselves. For us, I know a lot of people like to build their house on a hill. Not, totally no judgment there at all. We just wanted to share it. I know a lot of people do. I mean, you could look around.
I built some extra rooms, but we have a great patio for other people.
Right.
But
but you'd be like, but it would be ours.
I know, that's real cool. And so you're starting off with the amphitheater, which we'll get in a second. The
reception
pavilion. Hall outside. What would be the next addition?
Because
this is
this is the Bridal Suite.
It's the Bridal Suite.
Yeah, basically.
Where she gets changed.
Yeah. We've got the spot where she'll get changed over here. That'll be dedicated for her. We've got those folding, doors that can close off. And then the girls and other girls and stuff can get ready over there.
And the men have a tent outside. And
yeah, I mean, whatever. But, again, if the business dictates that we need or want to build more, we will. But what I foresee is it'll be what is, and just continually for a lifetime improved upon, added to as it is right now. I don't expect to build much more, but again, we had a dream once of having a chapel even higher up on the hill. So I don't know. We may do that, but it's not the right now. And it would be fun to have some accommodations for like, a few people to be able to stay out here, at some point. But that's not where we're at yet.
We're about to open.
Yeah.
So what day is it? What day is
we said January 2022. Is that the first? Is it the middle?
Whatever.
We're working to get it done.
When we were talking earlier, and you said you already had some people who.
Yeah, that are incredibly. We're just kind of waiting to get their dates back that they're ready to get. They were a little up in the air about which dates they were wanting to book, and so we're waiting on those bookings, and got tours lined up already for the first of the year. So. A lot of people digging the space.
Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to be booked up absolutely in the spring and the fall, because those are our most popular requests so far, and it being, more seasonal space right now. Mm-hmm. But I've had.
And since we're in the hill country and it's generally breezy out here, and.
Yep, it is, especially up on the hill. So, but we'll be open for year round if there's somebody who wants to do a January. You can have beautiful January days. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So.
And you doesn't even have to be away. It could be like concerts or.
Yeah.
Other things.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice for.
In fact,
a lot of different things.
Leaning more
Actually,
into.
this would be a really good concert venue.
I know, because of the amphitheater and stuff. Yeah, I was thinking.
Off the.
Like referring back to the camp stuff, I love working with youth, teenagers specifically. I really enjoy working with at our church and stuff. And they'll have different worship concerts, And I was thinking, man, that would be cool to have out here for them sometime.
That would be, yeah.
They could eat under the pavilion and have the concert type of thing on the amphitheater, or whatever,
So heavily involved in church and all.
Yeah.
You said the camps. Are you involved in the camps right now?
No, not with camps, but like for a while. My husband and I were very heavily involved in doing youth retreats for high schoolers.
Is that where you got this?
Through the church, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Acts retreat. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's not happening so much right now just because the way the world's spun a little out of control, but we love doing that kind of thing. So
Acts was weird for me.
Was it?
Yeah. I, grew up super Catholic, went to church like 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. So going on an Acts retreat, I went in like my early 20s.
Okay.
Because I had I just had questions about religion in general. Mm-hmm.
Which is good to have. It's good to have that.
Across the board,
right.
Not just Catholicism. Mm-hmm. So the first few parts of the retreat were like, oh my God, so boring. I've been through this a billion times.
Right.
And it didn't start getting real, or it didn't turn to a real experience till the last night.
Oh, really?
Like the last day and the last night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the whole reason why I went is because my cousin and my uncle just came back very different people. Mm-hmm. To this day, my uncle's still a very different person than what he used to be prior to that.
It's a very transformative retreat.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you take away from it, I don't know anybody that's walked away with nothing. And most people have walked away with significant, just things that have happened to them, mostly in a positive way.
Yeah.
Now my mom, I was raised Catholic, but my mom was the Catholic, but she was around the church when it was just not as pleasant for her, and so she kind of slowly moved away. She kind of slowly moved away. So then I moved away. I'm a kid, I'm just following my mom around. Well, later in life, my husband became a Catholic, and so I became a Catholic. It's kind of a long story, but she went on the Acts retreat with me, and I was on team, and she was on retreat, and she really enjoyed it a lot. It was a little confronting sometimes because there was stuff that she was coming up against. But when she got home, she got all freaked out and overwhelmed again about all her past Catholic stuff. But she sees that it's changed since then, but she can't take it. She just I don't know, she can't accept it. So she got all freaked out, but then she came back and got kind of calmed down again, and she did really enjoy the retreat. But that would be the only negative experience that I know of, and that was more of just her, Satan comes in and wants to kind of mess you up, I think he likes to come in and kind of freak you out sometimes.
I mean, I got something out of it. Probably not what anybody wanted me to get out of it.
Were you like, I hate this?
No, I mean, the one thing in all my different questions, all the different people from different religions that I talked to, all my life in the church and all that, one thing I never got to do was just have a one-on-one conversation with the priest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And and this is the only detail that I'm going into, because Acts is, it's supposed to be super vague.
You got to do it
we're
yourself.
Trying to be super vague about it.
Yep.
But there is a night where you do get one-on-one time with the priest. Okay? You get to talk. You talk to a priest. And I told him, I'm like, look, I know what they want me to talk to you about. No, I'm just not. God's omnipotent. He's seen what I've done. He knows whether I'm sorry or not. I ain't got to tell you anything.
Yeah.
I was like, what I want to know is that, I don't really know. We have all these conflicting ideas, billions of people, billions of different, world, views on the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
We have the official religious views. We have, different personal views. And I was just like, you know what? I don't know. All I know is that I'm trying to do best by the people that are put in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I, is that enough? I don't know.
Yeah.
If, I don't know if that's right or not, but that's all I can give you.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, pretty much.
So,
He's like, God's love, and you're doing that, so kudos.
right. Right.
And ever since then, that's kind of been just my one belief. Try to do good. Try to do right by people, and kind of figure out the rest later.
Well, yeah, and God, He kind of, in my life at least, kind of guides me to when I need to know what, and how I go about finding that out, and how I go about confirming that's what He wants me to know or understand. And so yeah, I think as long as you're trusting in His, and I think it's always good to be questioning to some degree, because there is a lot of opinions out there, and there's a lot of ways of thinking, and he tells you in the Bible to be questioning. Like, He doesn't want you to just be following blindly. You want to make sure you're paying attention to what you're following.
Forget that part.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, I took the RCIA. I forget what it's like, Rites of Initiation of Christian something.
Yeah.
For the Catholic Church class. It's like a 9-month class, and I was like, when I started looking at the faith for myself, Catholicism, and had to work through some stuff to even get to that point. A little card came in the mail from a church near us, Prince of Peace specifically in San Antonio. We still live over in that area. And
Prince of Peace
for RCIA, and I was like, well, I guess this is as good a time as any if I'm if I'm questioning. And I was like, and I'll do it. It's a 9-month. Like, if I don't know when I get out of there, if I, want to go this direction or not, then I don't. And as I moved through it, to me, it was no more questions. It was like, this is totally makes sense. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah, when I was about 16, I started really questioning things. Because again, from like the ages of 4 or 5 to about 18, went to church like 3 times a week.
And you just went because you had to go, like your parents were taking you and stuff.
Well,
right?
I mean, up until middle school, I went to a Catholic private school.
Okay.
So we went to class. We went to mass as a school on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
We went to mass on a Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and somewhere in between that, during that week, my grandmother would also have us watch the Catholic station
Mm-hmm.
and go through a mass. She even had her own communion set, and she would do that during the summer. So into this.
Yeah.
So when I turned 16, when I finally had a car and could go out and do my own thing, one of the things that I really wanted to do was just kind of look around and see what other beliefs there are, see if there was a non-denominational, because I'm just, tired of, what I was brought up with. And I went to what I thought was a great place. They were extremely welcoming. They had a very intense youth program.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had concerts and they had video games, and it was just like
Fun.
super fun.
Yeah.
And it was for a while, everyone was nice and supportive. And then I started asking questions. Like, okay, well, it says this, but it also says this. And, well, if it says this, is this okay? I'm like, yeah, it says this. The Bible also says this. All this and all these contradictions.
Mm-hmm.
And they stopped talking to me. I was kind of left to my own devices. And
Interesting.
But after that conversation with the priest, yeah, it's just kind of been. I've always been jealous of spiritual people, that they can find, that y'all can find, peace in religion and spirituality. I've always been jealous of, like you, my grandmother, and all those other.
That is a timer that's not going to go off. Speaking of that, let me go turn it off real quick. And speaking of, that timer is for Jesus, I Trust in You. I mean, it's kind of funny we're talking about it right now. It's 3 o'clock, it's like an hour.
And I'm not even gonna. Let's hopefully that made it on mic.
That'd be cool. But it'll go.
That was a Jesus alarm.
I mean, right? I forgot that was on. So.
Okay, you gotta explain that alarm then.
Because I have this on.
Yeah. What is the Jesus alarm? Okay.
Jesus, I Trust in You. It's just the thing that I don't know if Protestants do it too, but I know Catholics do it. It's the Divine Mercy, picture of Jesus and. Jesus, I Trust in You. And 3 o'clock is, the hour that he died. So a friend of mine was like, they did that alarm just every day to whatever's happening in your day, you become present, at least for the moment, of God and who he is in your life and whatever. And
good timing.
Yeah, it's totally good timing. Yeah, so it just became 3 o'clock, and there you go. The alarm went off.
And apparently, Jesus likes baseball.
Well, and so it's funny. And sometimes I'll be like, because I have it on like every day, and it'll go off when I'm on the phone, and then I'll end up hanging up on somebody or different inconvenient times, and I'll be like, dang it, and then I'm like,
dang it, Jesus.
What was the point of this alarm? So it's kind of a nice kind of keep you present. But continue. You were saying,
just been a little, because it's nice to be able to find that peace in spirituality.
Yeah.
It's just, for whatever reason, it's never connected with me.
Yeah.
The one thing that has that I will never ever be atheist, because everything around us is made up of 3 things, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the only difference is how those 3 things are arranged and how many of them there are, and that is it.
What 3 things are you saying specifically?
Protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, how come these protons, electrons, and the neutrons can't get up and walk and speak and talk, but these protons, electrons, and neutrons can?
Totally. Exactly.
And that keeps me believing. That's one thing I can't shake and don't want to shake.
Yeah.
Everything else is just kind of, maybe.
Yeah.
Every other belief is maybe.
I mean, and I think that in general, a lot of it, God's running through threads of all of that. It's the humans that are trying to figure out or apply, a lot of times it's about applying, like, for instance, when you're talking about, going to church all the time, you're just sick of it. I'm going to go somewhere else. I don't have to do that anymore. Well, what if the design is to do what you were doing, but you as the human being didn't like it, so you sought out something that was easier and more fun, and then after a while that wore off, and then you're like, okay, or whatever, that they. So I think sometimes it's us that are like, I mean, I know people who jump churches all the time because they get sick of a thing, and they get sick of a thing, and they get sick of a thing, and I'm thinking, well, I don't know. What's the common denominator? I don't know.
No, that wasn't something we never did. We didn't jump churches. We were pretty church loyal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
we had
That's good.
We had ties.
That's good.
The Catholic school I went to, St. Margaret Mary's on the south side on Fair. Fair in 281. And there's the Court of Marion off of Calabria.
That's where I did a bunch of women's retreats at that particular.
Yeah,
Court of Marion.
that's where my retreat was. That's where 3 out of 4 grandparents are buried.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
And my aunt is a great nun out there.
That's awesome.
Her name is Sister Jane. Really short, kind of ornery.
Is she nicer? Because there's one out there that's kind of.
Yeah. Not gonna name that one.
You don't want. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought she was cute and stuff, but you didn't want to cross her.
Yeah, no. Just my great aunt's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Especially after a couple of beers. I mean, nuns do not drink or do anything, or they're amazing.
Catholics drink. So it's funny.
So this venue, opening up next week. So I mean next month.
Yeah. I'm like, no, next week.
The website. What's the website?
It is www.j-dranchtx.com.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna definitely send it to me. So I'm gonna put this part of the video.
Okay.
Is there anything you want people to know prior to looking at this place? Anything you really want them to understand about this land and the service that they can come to expect?
Well, it's absolutely beautiful, and you've got to be out here to really capture the beauty. The website and photos, just as beautiful as they are, don't do it justice. We are an open air pavilion, so we are all about being outside, yet being protected from, the sun and the rain. And this land has been in our family over 100 years, so there's a lot of history out here. We didn't just build on some piece of land we bought. It's been here for a long time, and we're chilled out people. We're chilled out kind of people. So if you're looking for a nice outdoor chilled out venue that's going to take care of you and help guide you through the process, we could be that place for you. That's what I have so far. Is that good? Is that good enough?
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
So really, what's do you have a dream event yet? Like, it would be so cool if they had this at their wedding or this at their wedding, because now you just kind of get to be a part of all the parties that go on here.
I know, and I don't even know. I know that the bride that I'm waiting on to get me her dates to get booked, when she was out here visualizing their wedding and going through the description of it, I thought it sounded really awesome. I mean, they want to have like a full-on band, and they were describing where they wanted the band to be, and so their vision was becoming my vision. And they wanted to some of the decor they wanted to put up was like, that sounds really cool. I was like, oh man, I think sometimes I'll be like, I wish I was one of the guests instead of the venue owner, because it sounds like it's gonna be such a great party. But that's cool. I'll stay back here and make sure everything runs smoothly and observe. But I don't really know. I think it's gonna be a fun journey seeing all the different styles of weddings that are gonna happen out here, and I look forward to seeing what gets created.
It'd be cool. And you just have like a little venue owner pin or something, a little badge or something.
Something, yeah.
kind of walk around, take a drink, and just own this place. And just kind of
Circle
enjoy
around.
the party,
Yeah.
but not enjoy the party. Or
Right.
not enjoy. Yeah, I'm just running security.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Just
Yeah.
making sure everything's running smoothly. Yeah. Yeah. No, just making sure the
Be the-
music's, in rhythm.
Like, yeah,
whatever.
making sure we can group to
Yeah.
this. So.
Man, you're gonna have some great stories on what happens here.
I think so
We're gonna
too.
do this again in a few months down the road. You're gonna tell me some
I would love that.
crazy party stories.
I would love that. Yeah, that'd be very, very cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much for this.
Thank you. This has been fun.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This will go up in a little while later on today. I'll go ahead and provide the links to the site. Other than that, thank y'all very much for having a great day. I mean, thank y'all very much.
I hope you have had a great day.
Thank you very much, and have a great day. There we go.
There we go.